Hello, everybody. Welcome back to It's the United Way. Today, we're going to be doing a Ten Hag tactical breakdown. Joining me today is the man himself, Rahul. Rahul, how are you?
I'm fine, man. What's up?
Good, good. I just want to get your thoughts. Since we were on, David De Gea has been announced Player of the Year. What's your thoughts on that?
I'm really happy that they've announced David De Gea as the Player of the Year because his contributions sometimes go unnoticed. I know he's been announced as the Player of the Year many times before, but with a player like Cristiano Ronaldo on your team, there's obviously going to be a bias towards him. So
Yeah.
I'm really happy that the people who voted for him have made an honest decision.
Yeah, that's a lot of people say that David De Gea can save the Titanic. So maybe they're right. I mean, we did a poll last week, and David De Gea got you and the fans Player of the Year and all that. He definitely would have got mine. Like, Ronaldo scored 18 goals in the Premier League this season, something like that. But he was
Yeah.
with David De Gea, like he is a good goalkeeper. He saved us a lot. I reckon without De Gea and Ronaldo, we wouldn't be even in the Europa League. Never mind the Conference League. We probably would have been finished 8th or 9th. It has to be said. Or else games like Liverpool, when we got slapped against them, could have been even more than 4-0, 5-0, 6-0. It's just the basics of it. But let's hope he carries that into next season as well. We don't want him going on a bad form at all. But Rahul, I suppose we're here for a Ten Hag tactical breakdown. I suppose Erik Ten Hag's principles of play. I know you have a few yourself, but the ones I have, he goes with a 4-3-3 nominal formation, phases on counter movements and decoy runs, autonomy and flexibility for defenders and build up, stretch the pitch to open passing lanes between the lines and defensive risks in rest defence. His formation is quite straightforward. There's nothing notable to discuss, but Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola used a normal 4-2-3 as well. But what do you think of those, well, especially with the defensive risks?
Yeah, so I think about the defensive risks. Just give me a moment. Yeah, some kids just bothering me.
You're all right.
Yeah, so I think about the defensive risks, the way Ajax play, that they're not defensively vulnerable. If you see in the Dutch league, they played 21 games and conceded just 5 goals. So what that tells you is Ajax, they may look like an all-out gung-ho attacking team, but it really isn't that. Ten Hag isn't just an attacking manager. Defensively, players are very the key. The key factor about this team with the Ten Hag system is each player is diverse. So, for example, right back.
Right, so I think Rahul kind of he's frozen there, but I know he's I always know where Rahul's aiming at. The general.
Yeah.
Oh, we're back. Yeah, just had a bit of a froze there, but I think we're all good now.
Yeah.
I don't know why we had a bit of a froze there. That shouldn't have happened, but yeah. So Rahul, I mean, do you have any notes on Erik Ten Hag's tactics?
Yeah. So the system that he goes for me, he goes for a 4-2-3-1 system. So the regular four defenders with one DM and a center midfielder, and basically three interchangeable players up front. And with Ajax, he had Sebastian Haller, who was a tall striker who was basically the focal point of the team in terms of headers. So in terms of headers, Haller had, I think, the most headers in Europe, I think last season. So headed goals, that is. So basically, his system is really sort of interchangeable. Like he doesn't just stick with one formation. It always keeps changing according to what the
Yeah.
players, the opposition plays. So he plays a kind of a vertical tiki-taka type of system, in which you could say wing play isn't really prominent. But with this system is that you create a vertical overload in the midfield, you know, a tiki-taka system to outrun, to out maneuver your opponent in the midfield and in the forward positions. But what happens is, if the opposition figure that out and they themselves shift their system to a vertical defensive block, he has the two wingers, so Anthony and the other one, I can't remember his name. Anthony, who would shift basically, he would shift to the wide. He would go on to the flanks. So the defensive midfield and the right back and left back could get that option to play out to the wing as well if the vertical overload isn't happening. So basically, the system is really diverse. It's that's why Ten Hag is such a highly rated manager, because he doesn't just stick with one system.
Yeah.
You're not able to basically figure him out because of his diverse nature.
Yeah. And again, you mentioned that I think that left winger is their captain, Dusan Tadic.
Yeah, Tadic, yeah.
Yes, he's a left winger. Yeah, I mean, them things out there, what is it, tiki taka or something like that?
Yeah, a tiki-taka
Tiki
vertical
taka.
overload.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know whether just I think Pep Guardiola uses that as well, the tiki taka football.
Yeah, it is the same system, but with Ten Hag, the system is more direct.
Yeah.
So with Man City, you could see a lot of side-based passes to sort of tire the opponents out, look for these triangle spaces. But with Ten Hag, it's a more direct system, much like Liverpool. But for me, it's like a mixture between Liverpool and Man City.
Yeah. And when I watch Tiki Taka, as far as I know, that's just quick football. There's no messing about. It's quick football around the pitch, kind of it's like what's it kind of playing away from the back and or just playing up the pitch kind of thing. But it's quick football. There's no passing the ball around the back, midfielder back. It's get it out, pass quick, and go. And to be honest, Rahul, I don't know.
Yeah.
I've watched Man City do it, Liverpool do it from time to time. Not sure whether they still do. Pretty sure they probably still do. But Jurgen Klopp, he likes quick football. Tiki taka, it's just so quick. It's like the players aren't kind of able for it because it's just so quick and so direct that you don't know what to go with. And I don't know why Manchester United never went with the tiki taka. I don't know why. A lot of the teams like Arsenal and Tottenham are trying to do that themselves. Again, it'll take time, but to get used to. But I suppose Erik Ten Hag, he's not that man that gives things time with the team. What he says has to be all gotten used to on the pitch, and he's right. I'm not sure whether you know what a little tactic, the ring of security. Basically what it is, if you don't know what it is sorry, the centre back's goalkeeper and one or both fullbacks can drop in. Ajax can regularly establish dominance in build-up against opposition block, particularly if the opposition uses a front two, both of which are very common. Now, the ring of security, played out from the back, fullbacks drop, and they just run up. Now again, don't know whether you'd like to discuss about it, or if you know if you'd be happy with that ring of security with Erik Ten Hag.
Yeah, I think the main feature of what Liverpool and Man City and even Chelsea to an extent have is they have options. So whenever a person receives the ball, he has 3 to 4 basically options even up to 5 in Ten Hag system. So that is basically what tiki taka is. It provides you those options, those triangles to basically move around. Instead of dribbling and passing your opponent through your pace, you actually pass the ball around him to move up the field. So that's what tiki taka is. These small triangles just to move up the field. So with Ten Hag, it's more of a possession-based system, so more of the tiki-taka system. But as I mentioned before, it's everything's at a higher tempo. So what I mean by that is everything is 1-2 touch. It's not like a player has the ball, he holds on to it for a long time. Everything is just 1 or 2 touch. And then the system, obviously, passing is direct. Sideways passing, backwards passing is basically obviously less to what you'd see in a regular team. And his system is another one of those Liverpool and Man City systems in which he builds up from the back. So you won't expect long balls. Basically, he plays these shorter passes. But what happens is in the press. So a lot of times with Ajax, they weren't able to build up from the back. The goalkeeper, the defenders, because of the opposition press, they weren't able to do that. So what they would do then is go through a direct a route. They would do a long ball to Sebastian Haller up front. So that what that tells me is Ten Hag isn't just restrained to short passing and building up from the back. He can also take the direct route up front, long ball. But we as United fans, obviously, we don't want that to happen. But at least we know that in his system, that's a possibility. So it's a good thing for me.
Yeah, but then it's just for our defense. I wouldn't rely on that too much.
Yeah.
Our defense, but then again, I suppose when it comes to the stage where you kind of have to take those risks, don't you?
Right.
Kind of
And with his system, like a Man City, you see all these technical players, right? They're not really explosive. Like they don't have insane amount of speed to get past opponents. So they're technically sound players. So those are the kind of players that Ten Hag rates. A guy who can play different positions, a guy who's technically, even if he doesn't have the pace, if he's smart enough to understand and read the game, those are the kind of players Ten Hag likes. And that also includes his goalkeeper. So I don't know if you know this. Ten Hag was in his previous season, he was really unhappy with the goalkeeper because of his basically his ball playing skills, his skills and ability on the ball to build up from the back. So what he did was he basically benched that goalkeeper and he brought in a 38-year-old goalkeeper, basically a 38-year-old goalkeeper playing for Ajax. And the only reason he was playing for Ajax.
I think I know the goalkeeper. Yeah. The goalkeeper. I know one of the goalkeepers. One of them was Onana. I'm guessing he's the one that got replaced.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about the other ones because he has some long names. So I know here on about already. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the people as well who are watching the video know.
So just like Man City, Pep replaced 3-4 goalkeepers before he is stuck with Edison. The same applies to Ten Hag. If you could be a good shot stopper, but if you're not good in the build-up play, if you're not comfortable on the feet with the ball, you're not going to be in his team. So with De Gea, I hope that it's not the case. I hope he does utilize De Gea, but if he doesn't utilize De Gea, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I'm 100% on board with whatever he goes with. So there's basically a clear structure of play, but the players keep fluctuating and changing their roles to create variations. So with Ten Hag system, there's no specialists. Like you wouldn't have specialist players in each position, right wing, left wing, center back, right back. You wouldn't have these specialist players. You would have players who are adaptable to each position, who could play, for example, the right back for Ajax he would oftentimes go into the DM position so that the DM could move forward and play and support the attack. So he emphasizes on these kinds of players. That's why you have all these technically good players because of how smart they are.
Yeah.
With this system. Yeah.
I mean, back to what you said about De Gea, I'd be surprised if Ten Hag does try and replace De Gea, especially after him getting Player of the Year award. What literally saved Man United this season alongside Ronaldo. But this isn't, as you said, you'd be 100% on board with what Erik Ten Hag does, and I suppose we all have to kind of be on board with what he does at this stage because we're that desperate to get back to the good days. We just want something to do, whatever. If it's gonna come out well,
Yeah.
well then just go for it. Really, just go for it. That's basically it.
Yeah.
Erik Ten Hag, he likes his progression. He likes open and passing lanes, having time and space to make the pass, and allowing the receiver to constantly receive in an optimal manner. When Ajax create the ring of security, the fullbacks tend to drop into a narrow position. To oppose this, the wingers move wider to open a diagonal lane. This is beneficial for numerous reasons. The wingers, who are typically inverted, can receive in a consistent manner the touchline / pressure, which is conductive, I think they were meant to say, of cutting inside or making their go-to dribbles. Anthony and Mazraoui share a strong relationship with the right back, knowing when to leave the winger 1v1. Now the problem is, Rahul, unfortunately, I don't think Telles and the lot would have a strong relationship with the likes of Alanga, Rashford, or Sancho just at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, look, I don't really care about what these relationships are. For me, whatever Ten Hag says, that's the letter of the law. It doesn't matter if you're a superstar. It doesn't matter how good you are. If you don't fit the system, you're not in this team, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
And with him, and he also plays a 3-4-3 diamond and could also play a 4-1-4-1 in possession of the ball. So you could actually expect him to employ three defenders at the back, just like Conte as well, because it creates a more sort of overload in the midfield. It gives them, instead of having two midfielders, it gives you a third option, just like I said, like the right back shifting into the midfield. So that's another thing. And with the 4-1-4-1 system, you'd have basically the DM staying back, and you'd have a huge like 5 or 6 players basically all moving together up front, up like the way Liverpool do in that vertical sort of press. So what that tells me again is, with this system, is it's so diverse. It's not a one-way system. Like a Solskjaer. We knew a system. We knew like the teams could just figure it out very easily. But Ten Hag, that he's so diverse that managers are basically clueless to what they can do to exploit the gaps and score a goal. And also defensively, they are quite solid as well. As I mentioned, 21 games, 5 goals conceded.
Yeah, exactly. I have a few little more bits. There's an element of pragmatism to Ajax's play. Practically going forwards, they aren't rigidly set in a system that doesn't utilise the players' strengths. Rather, they combine the principles with maximising their players' skill sets. Ajax often play so Anthony can receive 1v1 in a deep plus wide position. His distribution from here is excellent, particularly his in-swing and crosses. He also enjoys being in a 1v1 scenario, regardless of where Mazraoui is overlapping or standing off. So again, what do you think of that, Rahul? Do you think we need players to be going forwards, but they're not really setting a system?
Yeah, the thing with Ten Hag is it's all about gaps. It's all about these gaps that basically in his system, he likes his players to be adaptable, basically, so he can cover up every single gap that the opposition can basically exploit. So supposedly, for example, a winger wouldn't just be like a Marcus Rashford, who's up the field and just stays there up the field. The wingers are so smart, like a Tadic and Anthony. In a system with Ten Hag, they would basically be able to read the game and know when the defense is in trouble. So they would come back into the defensive shape, contribute to the defense. So basically, that's why I say, every player in the team, including the goalkeeper, has to be adaptable. And the whole idea, revolves around that. And the players that he's going to utilize also have to have those kind of skill sets.
Yeah, exactly. And Rahul, any more little my little last bit is what he can do with what he can't utilize at United. But before that, do you have anything else?
Yeah. So basically, what they do is, I talked about vertical overload, but what the Ten Hag system does is that they stretch the pitch. They stretch the pitch to create gaps to basically exploit, and go into those forward positions. So, for example, with Anthony, he would stick to the flank when, basically, when the vertical part of the pitch is crowded. You'd have Anthony go into the flank so that there's an option there, with wingers basically moving out. And to contrary to what I said before, you could have a wing play as well. So what Ten Hag is, depending on what kind of structure the opposition uses, he can adapt a wing play, or he could adapt that vertical overload. And once they break, once the Ten Hag system breaks the high press, that's basically the high press of the opposition. Once they break that, each player in possession has a variety of choices uh, to pass, as much as 6 players. So once you expect, so for example, United this season, or ideally the season that Ten Hag system is actually implemented, you'd expect United, if they break the defense, if they break the high press, you'd expect them to basically overload, outplayer each position. In the central midfield, if the opposition has 2 players, you'd expect United to have 3 or 4 players there to move around, to create that tiki-taka system. And finally, even though they play a tiki-taka system, in case the opposition blocks their pass or routes, they could utilize that, the direct ball, which they're obviously they've been effective in. So it's much like Liverpool. Sometimes they do utilize Mane or Salah or someone like that as an output, as a direct ball. In the same way, Sebastian Haller was utilized in the system Ten Hag used. And I think in the same way, Ronaldo, because of the timing and the speed of his runs, he could be used as an effective output for me.
Yeah. Well, we have 8 minutes left. Anything else that you can throw at the fans before we go?
Yeah. For me, he basically, in attack, they use a 3-2-2-3 system. So what that is in attack, you wouldn't have your back four just staying back. You would actually have one of your back four, preferably in his system, the right back, move up into into the midfield. So you'd have one a DM and a right back, and you'd have the center midfield, basically another 2 up front, like Ragnick's 4-2-2 system, in the same way. And you'd have 3 prominent, basically strikers or output players up front. So this is a really effective system because it allows the tiki-taka fluid play to happen because of the number of players we have. And they tend to create overloads, especially up the field, to basically crowd defenders with as much as 5 players in a forward line. You could Ajax's system had five players, five forwards, at one point of time. So basically, every position is, it's crowded
Yeah.
to create that overload. And you want to see the players holding. You won't see the players holding the ball too long. As I said, every player is basically because all the players that he utilizes are technically so good. They just need one or two passes, like Manchester City, just one or two passes to read the game, and to break through the opposition system.
Yeah, and Rahul, I think your dog wants to kind of have a say as well on Ten Hag's tactical
Yeah,
breakdown. You must be a United fan. But
yeah, sure.
Rahul, I'm not sure whether that's all your tactics in and out the way. Again, with Erik Ten Hag is pretty basic, and I think we got through the business end. But if you have any other little bit,
Yeah. For me, he likes in terms of a striker, he likes a physically imposing striker. So if you're expecting someone to play a false nine system, or a sort of diminished in height kind of a striker, that's not the kind of striker Ten Hag utilizes. Because with Sebastian Haller, all these players, they play around, and they maneuver themselves in positions to create those crosses. So Sebastian Haller had the most headed goals in Europe last season because of, the whole team working for
yeah,
him to create those headers. So if you have the best header of the ball in the world in Cristiano Ronaldo, you could imagine, what the system would be like. But for me, the sad thing is that Cristiano Ronaldo's career is obviously coming to an end, and
fortunately,
we wouldn't see the kind of chances that Sebastian Haller, would have received at Ajax.
yeah,
And also, just to top it off, when not in position, they utilize the counter press. So basically, to stop counter attacks, in case it does not work, they switch to a 4-5-1 kind of a system, which is basically a man-to-man pressing. So if they're not if they try to basically press the opponent high, just like a Liverpool do, they use three or four players to uh, crowd the defense. But in case if the defense breaks our counter press and moves forward to the midfield, we change our system. We instead of crowding players, we actually we assign one player who's man marking each player. So it's a very diverse system to play, a diverse way of defending and attacking. You know.
yeah. And Rahul, I'm guessing that's pretty much it all.
Yeah, I mean, I do have few more points, but we do have the time, I guess.
4 minutes 35.
Okay. Just to conclude, defensively, they're basically very adaptable. They make it hard for the opposition through the different styles of defensive presses. And in evidence, as I said before, after playing 21 games in the Dutch league, they've just conceded 5 goals. And he likes his players to be dynamic, as I said. So instead of playing specialist players in each position of the field, you would prefer skillful players who could play, different positions. And to conclude it, I would just say that they are tactically excellent and exciting to watch, with player development as a huge emphasis. So, apart from tactics, his development of players, is really good.
Yeah,
So he took a guy like Tadic, a guy like Daily Blind, who were outcasts. Tadic was an outcast at Southampton. Another outcast at United was Daily Blind. He took them and he made them into these, world class kind of players. So
yeah.
maybe you could expect someone like a Fred or someone like that to shine in his system, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. And Rahul, I think we're all done now.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll probably have another one come there to the new season, so the people can refresh it into their brain and all that.
Yeah.
But listen, they're all good tactics. For myself, Rahul, I think, had more than me, but it's nice to have someone else have the information this time instead of me having it all the time. But I mean, Rahul, thanks for coming on. Really, really appreciate it once again. Everyone, please go like, comment, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. To get more good videos like this, especially the new career mode videos, which will be on YouTube from now on. We're starting to do well again. Don't know whether you've noticed, Rahul, but we're starting to do well. Beating Newcastle 10-1 the other night, so it's all good.
About 10-1.
Yeah. We're simply the best. But please go follow our socials: YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and all that good stuff. Type in It's the United Way and you get all the best content. Again, like, comment this video and hit that subscribe button. Rahul, thanks for coming on, and everyone, I'll see you all for the next one. This has been recorded on a Friday, so schedule should be out on Saturday. Rahul, thanks for joining me, and I'll see you soon.
Right. See you, man.